Good morning. Today let us go through the topics mean, variance and standard deviation. What is mean? It is known as arithmetic mean and it is the most commonly used measure of central tendency. And we already learned that mean denoted by x bar is the sum of the observations divided by number of observations. So mean x bar is sigma x by n. This is a mean for ungrouped data. And in case of group data with frequency, the mean x bar can be calculated as sigma fx divided by sigma f for grouped data. Okay, when we think about mean or arithmetic mean, one of the concepts which are very important for AS level is the mean of coded data. So the mean of coded data, when do we use the mean of coded data? To code a set of data, we can transform all of its values by addition of a positive or negative constant. So this is a procedure for coded data. To code a set of data, we can transform all of its values. That means all the observations by the addition of a positive or negative number. So this process is required when our collected informations or collected observations are large. If the values are large, to make our calculation more convenient and to make the numbers easier to handle, we use coded data. Like for example, normally we find the arithmetic mean using the formula sigma x divided by n. But when the data is like suppose 100, 101, 103, 107, 110, then addition of this data and making the formula possible as sigma x by n take a little more time than the usual time. So to make our work more convenient and easier, we code this data into a smaller form. Like from the observation x, we may subtract a number. Usually let me take a number. What we can take, okay, I'm taking a number 100. I'm subtracting number 100 from every observation. So here the data become 0 because 100 minus 100 0. The second data 101 minus 100, it's 1. 103 minus 100, 3. 107 minus 100, 7. 110 minus 100, it's 10. Now it is very easy for us to calculate these values, the sum of these values, that is known as sigma x minus 100, which is easily we can calculate as 10 plus 7 17 plus 3 20 plus 1 21. Now what we need to do is use the usual formula for mean x bar, which is nothing but sigma x minus 100 divided by n. Our usual formula is sigma x by n, but as we added a negative number, our formula becomes sigma x minus 100 by n. That is 21 divided by n. N is number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is 4.2. So sigma x minus 100 by n is 4.2, but this is not the correct answer, because this answer is formed by coding the data. Now we need to decode it. So to decode it, we subtracted 100 from the original data. So to decode it, add 100. So we get 4.2 plus 100. That means 104.2 will be the arithmetic mean. That means if x1, x2, x3, etc., xn are the n observations, then to find the mean using coded data, it will be sigma x minus a divided by n plus a. Okay. In case of grouped data with frequency, this formula becomes sigma x minus a into f divided by sigma f plus a. Okay. So here the thing we need to remember is, in the coded data, sigma x minus a can be expanded as sigma x minus sigma a for n terms. That is according to the question. So it can be written as sigma x, you know it is x1 plus x2 plus etc. plus xn, minus sigma a. What do you mean by sigma a? So sigma a is nothing but a plus a plus a plus etc. how many times? N times. Add a n times is known as sigma a. Sigma b is add b n times. So it can be written as a n. So sigma x minus a can be written as sigma x minus a n. Similarly, if our formula is sigma x minus 10 for 30 terms, if we are in need of the expansion of this one, it can be written as sigma x minus sigma 10, which is sigma x minus 10 times 30, because sigma 10 is 10n, which is sigma x minus 300 as answer. Okay, so let's look one question. Given that q bar is 22, that means mean is 22, sigma q minus 4 is 3672. Question is, find the number of values of q, that means find n. I'll read the question once again. Given q bar, arithmetic mean, is 22 and sigma q minus 4 is 3672, find the number of values of q. So here when we are doing this question, use the poor form of pure form of q bar. It's given that q bar is 22. When we write the formula for q bar, it is nothing but sigma q minus 4 divided by n plus 4, which is equal to 22. Yes. So this is a formula for arithmetic mean of coded data, sigma x minus a by n plus a. And we know that sigma q minus 4 is 3672. So it can be written as 3672 divided by n is equal to 18 when we take plus 4 to right side. So now what can we do? It's nothing but cross multiply n. So we get 18n is equal to 3672, or n is equal to 3672 divided by 18. Just do the calculation. We get the value of n as 204. Okay, this method is very important because in most of the questions we need to calculate the value of n to continue the further calculations. Now let's look at another concept, which is nothing but variance. See, these two concepts are not under the same topic. Arithmetic mean is one of the topics of central tendency, and variance is a measure from variation. Okay, and we know that a measure of central tendency alone doesn't describe or summarize a set of data fully. Central tendency tells nothing about how widely spread our values are. Okay, like if we consider two sets of data, like if you take two sets of data, data A and data B. Suppose data A has 25, 30, 31, 26, 31, 28, 29 and 24. These are the values collected. Like for example, A is batsman A and B is batsman B. These are the runs scored by batsman A, and the runs scored by B is 2, 70, 1, 0, 43, 1, 104 and 3 finally. So when you take the total, we get the total as 224 here, and here also we get the total as 224. So in both cases, when we find the central tendency or when we find the arithmetic mean, we get the same result. So arithmetic mean is same for both the cases. But when we consider the datas, or when we go through every value, we can understand the numbers of A are quite consistent, whereas the numbers of B are varied. This consistency or lack of consistency can be indicated by a measure of variation named as variance. Okay, and variance. Suppose variance of a variable x can be calculated using the formula sigma x minus x bar the whole squared whole divided by n, or in a simplified form it can be calculated as sigma x squared divided by n minus sigma x by n the whole squared. Or in case of grouped frequency data, it can be calculated as sigma x squared f by sigma f minus sigma fx by sigma f the whole squared. Okay, and here also we need to think about coded data. For arithmetic mean, the coded data was x minus a, sigma x minus a by n plus a. But in case of variance, the coded data, the variance of x is same as the variance of x minus a. Okay, like 20, 25, 30, 35. Suppose we are coding these values. Now you see how widely it's spread. It's spread with a unit of 5, 5, 5. Just I made with same unit. Okay, suppose we are coding it as variance of x minus 5. So when we do variance of x minus 5, our new data formed is 15, 20, 25, 30. Here also you can look the variance. It remains same 5 each. So we can understand variance of x is same as variance of any of its corresponding coded data, and it can be calculated by sigma x minus a the whole squared by n minus sigma x minus a by n the whole squared. Okay, and like if you look at one question, 8 values are summarized by the total sigma x minus 10 the whole squared is equal to 1490, and sigma x minus 10 is equal to 100. And for another 12 values, sigma y plus 5 the whole squared is equal to 5139, and sigma y plus 5 is equal to 234. Our question is to find the combined variance. So what we have to do is we have to find the combined variance. That means variance of x and y. Okay, so to find the combined variance, what we need to do is we have to find all the terms of x and y separately. Why? Because variance of x and y can be found using the formula sigma x squared plus sigma y squared divided by n1 plus n2, that is 8 plus 12 here, minus sigma x plus sigma y by 8 plus 12 the whole squared. This is the combined variance of x and y. Okay. So let's look at this question, how to do this one. Let us take the first part. Here the data given are n is 8, sigma x minus 10 the whole squared is 1490, and sigma x minus 10 is 100. Okay, so let's begin with mean. Mean is, as it is a coded data provided, we'll use the coded data. X minus 10 divided by n plus 10, which is equal to sigma x minus 10 is 100 by 8 plus 10. So we get that answer as 22.5 as mean. Okay, and we know that mean x bar can be defined as sigma x divided by n, which is sigma x divided by 8, and it is given as 22.5. So cross multiply this 8, we get sigma x is equal to 8 into 22.5, which is 180. So remember, what are the concepts we found? First we found mean x bar using the formula sigma x minus 10 by n plus 10. We get it as 22.5. Now let's use the original formula for mean, which is sigma x by n. Can compare that one with 22.5. So we get sigma x by 8 is equal to 22.5, or sigma x is 180. Okay, so remember our formula variance, we required in our variance formula we required sigma x and sigma x squared. These two terms are required for our formula. We got now sigma x as 180. Okay, now let's go for the next part of this question, that is to find sigma x squared. To find sigma x squared, we need to use variance. So remember the formula for variance, because remember the formula for variance is sigma x squared by n minus sigma x by n the whole squared. Yes, in that formula you can find out sigma x squared. So use the formula variance. Variance of x is sigma x minus 10 the whole squared by n minus sigma x minus 10 by n the whole squared. And you know this is the variance of x minus 10. So substitute the values, what we get? We get it as 1490 divided by 8 minus 100 by 8 the whole square. Yes, we get this answer as, do this calculation, we get this answer as 30. So variance of x minus 10 is 30. Now, do we have any connection with variance of x and variance of x minus 10? Do we have any connection? Yes, which is nothing but variance of x minus 10 is same as variance of x, which is sigma x squared by n minus sigma x by n the whole squared. And now we found this answer as 30 because variance of x minus 10 is 30. So it implies sigma x squared by n is 8 minus sigma x by n. Sigma x by n already we found as 22.5. The whole square is equal to 30, which implies sigma x squared is equal to, take 22.5 square to right side and cross multiplied by 8. We get 8 into 30 plus 22.5 squared, which is equal to how much? 4290. So we got sigma x squared as 4290 and sigma x as 180. Okay, so the similar concept, similar calculation, we have to go on with the term y. Let's see how to do that one. So here it is given that y plus 5 the whole squared is 5139 and sigma y plus 5 is 234 and there are 12 terms. So let me write the previous value. Sigma x is 180, sigma x squared is 4290. So here first we have to find the mean, which is sigma y plus 5 by 12 minus 5, because when we add a coded data, subtract that same value to decode it. So we get it as 234 divided by 12 minus 5, which is how much? 234 by 12 minus 5, 14.5. And you know x bar can be, sorry, it's not y x bar, it's y bar. And you know y bar can be written as sigma y divided by n, which is 14.5. So cross multiply this n, which is 12. We get sigma y is equal to 12 times 14.5, which is 174. So we get sigma y as 174. Now we required only one more value, which is sigma y squared. So just think which value or which measure we use for sigma y squared, which is nothing but variance, because in variance you can find out y squared or sigma y squared. So find out variance of x plus 5, which is sigma, sorry, not x plus 5, it's y plus 5. Sigma y plus 5 the whole squared by 12 minus sigma y plus 5 by 12 the whole squared, which is sigma y plus 5 the whole square is 5139 divided by 12 minus sigma y plus 5 234 by 12 the whole square, which is equal to 48. Do this calculation, we get it as 48, which is same as variance y, because we know that variance of x is same as variance of x minus a. So replace the value, formula for variance of y. What's the formula for variance of y? Sigma y squared by n minus sigma y by n the whole square, which is sigma y squared by 12 minus sigma y by n. We already found out sigma y by n as 14.5 the whole square, which is equal to 48. Yes, do the same calculation. So what method we use for doing this calculation? Yes, take minus 14.5 squared to right side, it become plus 14.5 squared, then cross multiply 12. So we get sigma y squared as 12 of 48 plus 14.5 squared, which is 3099. So we get sigma y squared as 3099. So remember to do the combined data, variance of the combined data, we have to go on with all these measures, all these steps. Now we got all the necessary terms, we can go for our formula, which is variance of x and y is equal to sigma x squared plus sigma y squared divided by total number is 20, minus sigma x plus sigma y divided by total number 20 the whole square, which is equal to sigma x squared is 4290 plus sigma y squared is 3099 divided by 20 minus sigma x plus sigma y, that is 180 plus sigma y is 174 all divided by 20 the whole square, which is equal to, what is the answer? Yes, when we do this calculation we get it as 56.16 as variance. And if the question is to find the standard deviation, which is nothing but square root of variance, which is square root of 56.16. And from this question one more expected question can be asked as mean of x and y. You may get the question for mean of x and y. X and y can be calculated by sigma x plus sigma y divided by total 8 plus 12, which is 20. That is sigma x is 180 plus sigma y is 174 divided by total 20. We get it as 17.7 as result. Okay. Now look at this question. This is a question from 2018 March in paper 6-2. Question is, a summary of n values of x give the following information. Sigma x minus 20 is 136. Sigma x minus 20 the whole squared is 2888. The mean of the n values of x is 24.25. Then find the value of n. Okay, so this is similar to our first example today. So what they have mentioned here is the mean is 24.25. Mean is 24.25. That is, what is the formula for mean using coded data? It's nothing but sigma x minus 20 by n plus 20 is equal to 24.25. When you take 20 to right side, we get, and you know sigma x minus 20 is 136. 136 by n is equal to 4.25. Cross multiply n, we get 4.25 n is equal to 136, or n is equal to 136 divided by 4.25, which is 32. Okay, so the number of terms is the number 32. Okay, so there are n values. Now let's go to the next question. Find sigma x squared. We have to find sigma x squared. And you know, sigma x squared can be found using variance. And you know, variance of, here we have x minus 20. So if we find variance, we have to find variance of x minus 20 is equal to, what is the formula? Sigma x minus 20 the whole squared by n minus sigma x minus 20 by n the whole squared, which is equal to, we have sigma x minus 20 the whole squared as 2888 divided by n. Just now we found the value of n as 32, minus sigma x minus 20 by n. You know, sigma x minus 20 is given as 136. Is it 136? Yes, it is 136. Okay. Divided by 32 the whole square. To this calculation, we get it as 72.19. And you know, variance of x minus 20 is same as variance of x, which is 72.19. Yes. And what is the formula for variance of x? It's nothing but sigma x squared by n minus sigma x by n the whole squared is equal to 72.19, which is sigma x squared by n is sigma x squared divided by 32 minus sigma x by n. Sigma x by n is the mean. In the question itself they have mentioned the mean as 24.25. The whole square is equal to 72.19. Now sigma x squared can be calculated by take this value to right side, then multiplied by 32. So we get 32 into 72.19 plus 24.25 squared, which is 21128 as a result. So remember, when you do this question, if you want to find sigma x, you have to use mean, and when we want to find sigma x squared, you must use variance. Okay, look at this question. In a statistics lesson, 12 people were asked to think of a number x between 1 and 20 inclusive. From the results, Tom found that sigma x is equal to 186 and that the standard deviation of x is 4.5. Assuming that Tom's calculations are correct, find the values of sigma x minus 10 and sigma x minus 10 the whole square. So this is comparatively a simple question. So let's check the data given here. So here the question is dealt with 12 people. That means we get n is equal to 12, and think of a number x between 1 and 20 inclusive. This is not an important information for us. From the results, Tom found that sigma x is 186 and the standard deviation is 4.5. Find the values of sigma x minus 10 and sigma x minus 10 the whole square. So what can we do here? As usual, we have to use mean. Mean x bar is sigma x divided by n, which is 186 divided by 12. Yes. And you know, this is same as, this mean is same as sigma x minus 10 divided by n plus 10 as coded data. So when you combine these two data together, we get sigma x minus 10 by 12, n is 12, is equal to 186 by 12 minus 10. Cross multiply 12, we get sigma x minus 10 is equal to 12 into 186 minus 10, sorry, 186 by 12 minus 10. Is it? We get this answer as 66. That means sigma x minus 10 is 66. Okay, now let's make use of standard deviation. So you look at this, we need to calculate sigma x minus 10 the whole squared. If it is sigma x squared or its corresponding calculations, you have to remember its variance. So it's mentioned that standard deviation is how much? 4.5. And you know standard deviation is square root of variance, that is square root of sigma x minus 10 the whole squared by 12 minus sigma x minus 10 divided by 12 the whole squared is equal to 4.5, which implies sigma x minus 10 the whole squared divided by 12 minus sigma x minus 10. Just now we calculated that as 66 by 12 the whole squared is equal to 4.5 squared, which is 20.25. So that sigma x minus 10 the whole squared is equal to, take this term to right side, then cross multiply 12. We get 12 into 20.25 plus 66 by 12 the whole square, which is equal to 606 as answer. Okay, so remember what we have done here once again. The work was very simple. To find the sigma x minus 10, we made use of mean, because we know mean x bar can be found in two ways, which is sigma x by n or sigma x minus 10 by n plus 10. In both ways we get the correct answer, and which is same as sigma x is 186 by 12. So by using this one we have to find x minus 10. That means take 10 to right side, we get 186 by 12 minus 10. Now that to be cross multiplied by this n is 12. See, we get the value in a very simple way as 66. And in case of variance or standard deviation, in case of finding x minus 10 the whole squared, we have to use variance or standard deviation. You know the formula for that, and do the similar calculation. Okay, now look at this question. I would like you to do this question as an assignment. Just pause the video and do the calculation. We have to do the part 1 and part 2. Okay, so part 1 is to find the value of a, and you could find a is a point among the frequency, and the total frequency is given as 242, and you have to make a plan to find the value of a. And question number 2 is to calculate the mean length. We have to calculate the arithmetic mean using the formula sigma fx divided by sigma f. But think, what is x here? The data is provided in the form of class intervals. What is x? Of course, it's not x here. In this question, it is t. So the formula is sigma f t divided by sigma f. So what is t here? So t is nothing but the mid value of the classes, which is 0 plus 1 by 2. Okay, so just do this question as an assignment. Look at this question. Farfield Travel and Lackett Travel are two travel companies which arrange tours abroad. The numbers of holidays arranged in a certain week are recorded in the table below, together with the means and standard deviations of the prices. Just go through the table. Fairfield travel, number of holidays is 30, mean price $1,500, and standard deviation $230. Similarly, Lackett travel, number of holidays is 21 and mean price is $2,400 and standard deviation is 160. Our question is to calculate the mean price of all 51 holidays. So it is nothing but this is a question related to the combined mean. We have done one question about combined mean. So here, to find the combined mean, make a plan. What's your plan for this question? So to find the mean of this whole question, we need sigma x of Fairfield and sigma x of Lackett travel, so that we can calculate the mean as sigma x f plus sigma xl divided by the total number, which is 30 plus 21, 51. Okay, so the first task is to find sigma. Okay, let's take this one. There the mean price is given as, or mean is given as 1,500. It implies sigma xf by 30 is 1,500, or we get sigma xf as, what will be sigma xf? I'll write down. Just cross multiply 30. We get sigma xf as 30 into 1,500. Similarly, tell me what is sigma xl. Yeah, which is 21 into 2,400. Okay, therefore mean price for 51 holidays is 30 into 1,500 plus 21 into 2,400, the whole divided by 51. We get the answer as $1,870. Okay, let's check the next question. The prices of individual holidays with Fairfield travel are denoted by $XF, and the prices of individual holidays with Lackett travel are denoted by $XL. By first finding sigma x squared f and sigma x squared l, find the standard deviation of the prices of all 51 holidays. So here, what are the things to be found is clearly mentioned. And let's take the first part, that is XL. XL now first. Look at XF. Its standard deviation is 230 and 30 members. Okay, so let's take XF. Standard deviation is 230, and for XL standard deviation is 160. I think 160. Is it 160? Yes. Okay, now As per the question, what we need is given that standard deviation is 230. Our formula is sigma xf squared by n is 30 minus sigma xf by n, that is 30, the whole squared, is equal to 230. So that we get sigma xf squared by 30 minus sigma xf by 30. Sigma xf by 30 means mean, which is already given that 1500 squared is equal to 230 squares. So from this, do the calculation and get the value of xf squared. How do you get the value of xf squared? Yes, take minus 1500 square to right side and cross multiply 30. We get sigma xf squared as 690,870,000 as answer. Similarly, let's find the value of sigma xl squared, sigma x squared l, using standard deviation 160. Similar method, we get square root of, use the formula, substitute the values and find sigma xl squared. See, these places I have kept blank for you. You have to calculate it. And we get the answer as 121,497,600. Okay, what next? Yes, we need to calculate standard deviation using the formula sigma square root of sigma x squared of f plus sigma x squared of l whole divided by 51 minus sigma x f plus sigma x l by 51 the whole squared. Just go on with this calculation and get the answer. Okay, thank you.